The first group are people you are friends with. The next group after that are people you have tons of mutual friends with. So I friend request them. And then I also get into like large family groups and other things like that.
Say that again about the garage sale group.
Okay, so or any groups that are like local groups, you can go in there, and if you click on the members list, the first group of people will be members you're friends with. The next group of people will be members that you have mutual friends with. So I go in, and I just figured this out on my own. I didn't learn it anywhere. I was like, whoa, that's really cool. And so I just go in there and I friend request them all. And when it gets to about under 5 mutual friends, I kind of stop just because I don't want it. And I also watch how many I won't do like 50 at a time. I usually don't do any more than 10 friend requests at a time. And I've never landed in jail, knock on wood. And then chat, and a lot of these are in the DFG Power Hour. It's a repeat of that. But chatting with 5 people, non-Beachbody talk, that's hard if you haven't talked to somebody for a while, but I still do it. I'll look at their page and say, oh, your kid, when do your kids start school? Or how's your summer going? Or 4th of July, how was your 4th of July? Some of them are, they'll say good, and that's it. And it'll be real short. And you're like, okay, this sucks. But some of them you'll, reconnect with. And then I send, and this is different than the Power Hour that's in DFG, I send 10 challenge group invites daily and 2 coach invites daily. Coach invites are something I struggle with, and Tracy Creven is like, Erin, you need to send coach invites. I'm like, okay. So I check Asana for follow-ups. I track everything in Asana. You need to use something to track whatever you're doing, whether it's Asana, a pen and piece of paper, Evernote, whatever. You just need to track it. Check into your training groups. If you're not in a training group, ask your upline to get you in a training group or watch YouTube videos. So check your coach online office during your Power Hour. Respond to emails. I don't really get too many emails except for my leads, and that's rare. My leads never respond to me like everybody else. So check your PMs. And I have learned, and this is really hard, but I have learned to not answer my PMs all the time. Like if I have somebody who I invited who I know is never on Facebook and they message me, I'll answer it immediately. But if I have somebody, a friend who I've invited and I know they're constantly on Facebook, they can wait an hour while you're cleaning your house or doing stuff with your kids. So it takes a lot of discipline. And I've turned Messenger off on my phone. You can only do it for 24 hours. But I'll turn it off so I don't get those little chat heads popping up. And check your online office. If you're getting leads for that month, make sure you're checking it for those leads and emailing those leads. And also finding them on Facebook. And Angela's really good about finding them on Facebook, so she can tell you about that as well. But the other thing I do for success, so that's my Power Hour stuff. And really that can be done in an hour if you bust your butt, but with no distractions. I mean, once you throw kids in there, yeah, you're going to be distracted. But I try and do it when Maddie's at school or when she's home, like get her busy with Play-Doh or something like that. I do also do an event for my challenge group, which takes me about 5 minutes a day. I post it, and then I'll post, there's a YouTube video on like what is a challenge group. So you can post that, and then I post transformation pictures every day. I post mine first, and then my team's, and then I use Courtney's and other ones that are in the different coaching groups. And who do you invite? I print my friends list and invite off of it. And if you don't know how to do that, I can post that in Inspire Belief. I already said the sauna thing. I'm just going over my notes that I took. After I invite, I also assign them to my leads group on Facebook. And instead of spending, you can spend an hour scrolling your newsfeed. I scroll my leads list and interact with my leads instead of 500 Beachbody coaches on my friends list. And how I expand my network, I talked about this already, but make sure your posts are public. I've sold 2 challenge packs in about the last 2 weeks, since the beginning of the month, from people commenting. One of my friends liked my post, and one of their friends, it showed up in their news feed, and they bought challenge packs because they've commented and was like, hey, I want information on size or 21-day fix or whatever it was. So, and you're told that in your beginning trainings anyways. And utilize every moment you have for personal development. I listen to podcasts in the car, on Audibles, while I'm driving. I listen to old calls, national wake-up calls. Lindsay that way has all her calls on her blog. There's no reason to. And if you're struggling for something, just Control F it on her blog, and you'll be able to find whatever you're needing. I search YouTube. I do TED Talks. Shalene has webinars. There's tons and tons of stuff. I also, instead of buying personal development books, I've started to go to the library because I was spending like $50 a week buying personal development books. So I'm like, oh, that's a good book. And 2 books I'll recommend is the Gifts of Imperfection. It's really good for you when you're feeling like you suck, basically. We all have those moments of self-doubt, and it also talks a little bit about sharing our story. So I'm rereading it again. And Go Pro and Go for No are both ones. And You Are a Badass, I actually give that as my emerald gift because it's an awesome book. And some people don't like it because it does cuss in it, so you can't really listen to Audible on it with your kids, but it's really good. But just to close, like what I have to say, most importantly is just follow the 3 vital behaviors, get on as many team calls and national wake-up calls that you can, and build relationships with people on your friends list and real life, yada, yada, yada. So that's all I had, Court. If they have any questions for me, or we can let Rebecca go.
Holy cow. Like, I just learned a ton. I hit record halfway through your thing, but it was like, crap. I need to be writing this down. I'm stuffing my face. That was awesome. All right, do y'all have questions for Erin? Anything do y'all need her to repeat or elaborate on? No?
Can we go over the first part again about SC and how you push for it? Just because that was a part that wasn't recorded.
Yeah. Thank goodness I have notes.
Sorry.
So how I hit Success Club monthly is I set a goal for the month, which is 10 plus as non-negotiable. Like no matter what, I hit 10 plus. And one thing I didn't say is I have 4 kids and they're all usually up by 8 a.m. I've started getting up at 5 a.m. to get my workout in and get a power hour in before they get up. Just because once they're up, I'm distracted. So if you have kids and you know that your kids are pulling from you, you might consider getting up early. And I think it was Angela and me talking that we are noticing that our market, even though we're not morning people, our market's morning people. So you may adjust your power hour to what your market is. So, and then I set weekly goals, which before this month, I was doing a goal of 5. And because I figured if my goal is 5, I'm going to hit a week, I'll hit the 10. This month, I'm shooting for 10 weekly, and it's working so far. And then I follow the power hour, which is basically the DFG power hour, doing your workout and posting it. And I don't always post it right away. If I'm going to post a breakfast post, I might post my workout a little later, even though I've done it early. And I post it in my challenge groups. And of course, drinking your Shakeology, posting it 3 times a week and trying to make it catchy with like kids or a pet or your husband looking at you like you're crazy or whatever. And And Courtney, do you remember when you recorded and then I can stop babbling?
No, but you've done plenty. It's fine.
Okay.
Good.
And I can copy and paste like my notes into like under the recording. So if anybody has questions.
Yeah, no, that'll be great. All right. That's awesome. Like all of the information that you gave about like friends of friends and all of that stuff totally blew my mind. That's such good information to know. Now that my entire family's back in the house, Rebecca, you can go ahead and take the floor, and I'm going to mute myself again.
All right. Well, Erin shared a lot of the really basic, like the power hour stuff is exactly what I do as well. So I won't go over that stuff again. The things that I would add to that are just a few things that I keep in mind each month. My goal each month is 10 non-negotiable, like 10 is non-negotiable. And for me, this is sort of a little petty, the reason that 10 is non-negotiable for me, but I started as a discount coach in November of last year. And the reason I started as a discount coach is honestly because I was afraid to say that I wanted to be a real coach in case it didn't work. And, but I was sharing from day one. And honestly, the thing that really pushed me to really actively push for Success Club and call myself a real coach was when they told us about the cruise in January, and they laid out like, you know, how each of the Success Club points earn cruise money. And if you hit Success Club 5 each month in 2015, plus help 12 coaches, then you get like a bonus that goes for your onboard, whatever. And if you hit Success Club 10, then it's a bigger bonus. And that's super, super petty, super materialistic, but I am kind of like super, super motivated by like those sorts of things. Like they could have told me they would send me a gold sticker like on a postcard, and I would have been like, okay, like just recognition is really motivating to me. And so after I like just started trying the basic power hour stuff, like my first month, I hit Success Club 10 in January, and I was only aiming for 5, but 10 just happened. I think it was even Success Club 12, but then like really consistently doing it every single day, like it really does make a huge difference. And so if you have something that's keeping you from doing that, like whatever it is that's keeping you from doing that, like make it work. Just make it work. You can carve out 30 minutes. You can carve out like 10-minute chunks of time while you're hiding in the bathroom from your kids. Like the thing that I do to keep my power hour organized is I download my friends list from Facebook, and I put it into a Google Drive spreadsheet. And I just, in July, did it again. And I've created tabs in that. And this is probably not a really super organized or traditional way of keeping track of your contacts list, but it's what works for me, and it's what keeps me moving, which is the most important thing. So whether you use pen and paper or a spreadsheet or Asana, like whatever it is that keeps you moving and keeps you doing it is that's what is best for you. But I have I have the first sheet where I have the list of, 1,000 people. I have a tab for people I've sent a deposit message to, which is you message them and it's just about them and it's not related to Beachbody. And then I have a tab for people I've sent an invite to. And then I've made some other random tabs for like, if I find out someone's a coach already, or if I find out someone has a coach already, or if I find out someone's pregnant, like they get a special tab because I'm going to communicate with them differently. So that's how I keep track of that, and that's how I keep moving. And then I also track on paper, because that, for some reason, just writing down like, okay, these are the people that I talk to. And then during one of my power hours during the week, instead of sending new invites or new deposit messages, I'll go over from the previous week the names of people that I messaged already and message each of them again, just really quick. And if they had already messaged me back, I'll like write a note about that or whatever. So that, I guess that would be my first tip, is like just do it every single day and track with whatever method keeps you moving and keeps that momentum. And then another note that I would make is I use event invites for each of my challenge groups. Not everybody sees them, especially if they're on mobile, but it's a way that you can, like for me, it helps me keep track of when the group is starting. It helps me keep track of who my contacts are. It gives me something tangible, like a tangible way to keep track of my contact list. I can go into my events and I will use PicMonkey to make a cute little banner for it. And when you, like if you go to the event page and you click the URL or the web address of it, you can actually share that directly to your wall on Facebook. And then it's got the cute little picture from the event page. And so I will do public event invites on my wall twice a week, like really strong, like this is a link to the event. This is the event. I'm looking for 3 to 5 people, and they're worded carefully. But I do like what I would call like a really direct or strong challenge group invite twice a week. I do it on Fridays and I do it on Tuesdays. And the reason I do it on Fridays is because Thursdays I focus on coaching invite stuff. And then Friday, people will see it and maybe be thinking about it over the weekend when they're more available to talk. And then I post it on Tuesdays because Wednesday is kind of that like cutoff for the bonus week. And my personal goal, like I said, each month is SC10 is non-negotiable, but I shoot for 20. And my goal each week is to have sold 2 challenge packs that week. And so if I have sold 2 challenge packs that week, I'll keep doing my power hour like normal. But if I haven't, then I'm pushing even harder Tuesday and Wednesday to make it happen. And so that's why I'll post a direct, like a really strong challenge group invite on Friday and on a Tuesday. And then I post kind of like a softer invite every single day, like either through like as I'm sharing progress pictures or like an inspirational thing or whatever. I'll always like kind of close it at the end, something about like, you know, if you're wanting to get started working on your goals, message me. If you're, you know, and I always tie it into whatever it is that I'm sharing through that post. I have a little, where did my list go? Hold on. So I use those event invites, like I said. Another thing that I do, which would not take the place of consistently doing your power hour, but something that I have caught on to with my kind of my niche market that I really intentionally work around is the timing of when the challenge groups start. And I typically end up connecting best with moms who maybe they have like a single income in their family or their funds are limited. And so you initially invite them and it's going to be a month or 2 before they're able and ready to jump in. But the time when they're most likely to say, yes, I'm ready, let's do this, is the week of payday, honestly. And so I plan for my challenge groups to start the second Monday after, like the second Monday of the month, basically, because then I'll see if I can share my calendar. There it is. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. So I would put the purchase deadline for the weekend. So my group that's going to start in September, I would say, you know, the purchase deadline is going to be the weekend, like 28, 29, 30, and then probably the 31st, because that's going to hit payday for people who are paid on the last Friday of the month, and it's going to hit payday for people who are paid on the last working, like business day of the month, which is the 31st. And then that gives a week for the preseason info. In the way that we do the way our team does our groups is we have 7 days of preseason info, which is all like menu planning and like making grocery lists and shopping and talking about your goals and talking about obstacles that you're going to have and your why and all that stuff. And then all of our new people plan on starting on the 7th, which is actually going to be Labor Day. So we'll kind of wiggle with that because there's going to be barbecues. And so we would address that in our preseason. But then I also, since my goal is to have, 2 new people jumping in every week of the month, I also, in our groups, we kind of have a rolling start so that people can jump in on any Monday. Nico, do you want a buckle? Yeah, take it to Nana. So people can start any Monday. And then one thing that we're going to start doing in our groups is keeping all of the preseason posts in one place, whether it's like in an album or in a file, so that as those new people are added later in the month, we can tag them on kind of a getting started post so they can do all their preseason stuff and just jump in right on a Monday and not feel like they're behind. So back to my notes. I talked about doing your power hour every day, finding a tracking system that works for you and keeps you moving, timing, using event invites for the challenge groups. And then one thing that I will do too is I'm pretty stuck on that goal of 2 challenge packs a week. And so I will offer incentives at the beginning of the month. Ideally, if I could get those first 5 people started in the first week or first weekend of a month, I really shoot for that. And so I will offer incentives for okay, so it's August now. The first 5 people that sign up are going to get the Fix8 cookbook. Or, size is on promo right now. So what I have right now is those first 5 people can choose between the Fix8 cookbook, or they can choose a set of the 21-day fix portion containers, because those don't come in the challenge pack. And I think they're like $15 or something. So it's a nice, fun, useful thing that people would like. So I offer those for the first 5 people to jump in each month, and I will advertise those again really creatively on Tuesday and Wednesday if I haven't hit that goal of 2 challenge packs for that week. And so those are kind of as far as tips or tricks or whatever. Those are some intentional things that I keep in mind. But really, the number one most important thing is consistently every single day that you're sharing about your journey, that you're sharing pictures of you working out. And if you can do videos of you working out, that's even better, especially if you don't want to, because the people that are on your friends list know you and like you, and them seeing you moving and enjoying moving and being consistent, they are paying attention, and they are, you will be the person in their minds when they are ready to start their own process. They will be thinking of you. And as an illustration of that, I'll see if I can find this post. I have a gal on my friends list who I haven't talked to since high school, and we weren't really friends necessarily in high school. We had some classes together. She disappeared for a while. We've been Facebook friends. I was supposed to come to the high school reunion and she was planning, and then I totally chickened out because I was super overweight and really self-conscious. And we just haven't talked for a year. And I don't think I had even messaged her yet, because I was I don't want to message her because I was a jerk and didn't show up to the thing she was planning that she was really excited about. And then I'm going to share my screen so you can see this post that she left on my wall. I think I had posted 2 videos of me doing size, and she shared this on my wall at midnight. She found this random video of somebody dancing to that Watch Me Whip song, and it made her think of me, and so she shared it on my wall. So the whole point of me telling you about this is that people are watching, even if you have no idea. And so if you're posting and you're sharing and you're getting crickets, don't take it personally and don't get discouraged. Just keep doing your thing, because people are watching. And I should message her, actually, because I responded to her post, but I didn't jump in and message her right away. And then one thing that I wanted to share too, I shared this with my team back in July. This season, this time of year, July, August, September, is hard. Like, it's very hard to convince people to start a new fitness program. A lot of my niche market, like, their kids are going back to school and they're super stressed out and they don't want to talk to you about their fitness because they want to eat pumpkin everything and hide in their sweaters. And that's just what people want to do right now. And so there's going to be this temptation to like get discouraged and maybe stop inviting because you don't want to bug people. But this is the prime time to be reaching out to people and starting that conversation, even if they're telling you no right now. Because when you reach out and start that conversation, now they're going to be watching you. And as it gets into October and November, people are even less interested in doing a new fitness program because they want to eat holiday food and they're planning holiday stuff and they're stressed out. And in December, it's like pulling teeth, honestly, to get people to do that because they are planning Christmas and they want to eat all the things. And I think Carl actually shared this at our Super Sunday here in Portland. Like, they're going to wake up December 26th and realize that they ate their way through the holidays. And they're going to be like, I need to do something about this right now. Yeah, he's okay. Go get Papa. Can you go get Papa? Go get Papa. You're all right. Go get Papa. He's over here. He was strangling himself with the bike helmet. He's okay now. But those people are gonna wake up on December 26th and realize, holy crap, I gained 7 pounds, or I can't fit into my pants, or I feel like crap. And, they're going to realize I need to do something about this. And you're the person that they're going to think of because you've been bugging them since August about it. And so historically, I've heard this from other coaches. I experienced this myself in January and February of last year. I had been sharing my journey in November and December. And so when I reached out to people in January, I had those 5 people that were ready to go for it. And I would say, that doesn't, so be planting seeds for January now. And it doesn't mean that, Success Club is impossible between now and January. It just means you're going to have to work for it while keeping in mind that you're planting seeds for the future. So the people are out there. And I think one of the biggest, things that holds us back is we're afraid of bugging people. We don't want to alienate them. We don't want them to not like us, all that stuff. But the thing that you have to keep in mind is you might bug some people. Those people might unfriend you, whatever. The worst thing that could happen is that they could respond with a belligerent, offensive message to you. Maybe a belligerent, offensive voice message if they're feeling really angry. Honestly, that is the worst thing that's going to happen. And the best thing that's going to happen is you could change someone's life. Honestly, when I started back in November, I was 30 pounds heavier than I am right now. And I was seriously considering ending my life and choosing to start a fitness program and choosing to give diet and exercise a chance to change my mood around and give me something positive to focus on, made the difference for me and made the difference for my family. And so keep that in mind as you're reaching out to people. It's sure, you might piss a few people off, but you somewhere out there in your friends list is somebody who needs this. And so every invite that you send out gets you closer to that person. And so keep that in mind and go for no. And I think that was all I was going to share. And personal development's a good idea. I'm really bad at it. But I have an Audible subscription now. So, but yeah, if that was all that I had prepared to share. So if anybody has any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them.
What does your deposit message look like?
It looks different depending on who the person is, but basically I'll go to their page and I'll check to see if they have anything I don't know, if they have kids, I'll ask them how their kids are. It's usually me asking them, right now, it's the middle of August, the basic thing I've been asking people is hey, I hope you've been having a great summer. Do you have any exciting summer plans? like, and if it's been like forever since I've talked to them, I will acknowledge that, like, hey, super random, I know it's been like forever since I talked to you, but I was randomly thinking of you and wanted to say hi and see how you're doing. And you know, look at their page for a minute or two, scroll through, like, see if they have kids, ask how their kids are. If their kids are school aged, like, ask them, you know, how they're feeling about their kids going back to school, how that's going. A lot of people are super excited to send their kids back to school, and would love to tell you all about it. And a lot of people are sending their little ones to school for the first time, and that's scary, and so they want to talk about it. I'm trying to think of what else I ask people. That's pretty basically it. I'll change it like month to month depending on like relevant holiday stuff, but asking people if they have plans or what their plans are for like a holiday or something is a pretty safe, like, people will answer that. Like, I don't ever send out like a, hey, how are you? Like, that kind of a message to somebody I haven't talked to for a long time, because that gets crickets. Like,
What do you want?
yeah, what do you want?
The other thing you've shared in our team calls is, and now my mind's going like, that we end, and I do this too, that we end every interaction with a question.
Yes.
If they're asking you price, you end it with a question. If they ask you whatever their comment to you is, that we both do this, we end it with a question. Like, what are your thoughts? Would you like to join me? What is your hesitation? That's something we've done recently, is don't be afraid to ask them what their hesitation is.
Yeah.
Be prepared for a hesitation though, if you ask them that. So, and then I shared this, I just thought of this too. I shared it in our team page, and I shared it in DFG too. Can I just get the program? Mm-hmm. If you compare price it, the program's $59.95 for like size, because it's on sale right now. But the shipping on just the program's $12. So that brings it to about $72. And I didn't include tax when I did that video, but then the challenge pack with $2 shipping is $142. So they're really getting Shakeology, if you include shipping, for $70. So I've been explaining that when they say they just want the program. And that some people are like, oh yeah, I still just want the program. I don't want Shakeology. I drink this protein crap in the can. But some people are like, oh, that's a good deal. And I'm like, yeah. So that's something that's worked for me like within the last week. I had this revelation of shipping on the program is absolutely insane. And some people will ask you why the shipping is so cheap on the challenge pack. And I'll say, well, you get a really high discount on your shipping with the challenge pack because we value your health and we want you to have the entire package. So, but that's all I had to add.
I just have a quick question for whoever wants to answer. But how do you go from asking them like about their personal life to talking about Beachbody? Like, how do you make that transition? And then how do you end the sale? I kind of like, I'm an example person, so that would help me.
Usually when I'm sending out those initial, like if I'm reaching out to somebody with like a deposit sort of message, I don't plan on inviting them until the next month. However, those conversations very frequently turn into conversations about Beachbody. Because when you're showing, especially if I message them and they happen to be online and I'm like conversing with them back and forth, because what I'll hear from people a lot is, oh, you know, I've seen, you know, what you're sharing and it's really inspiring. And so then I'll ask them like, oh, well, have you thought about joining me? Like, did you know that I coach challenge groups? Have you thought about jumping in with us? And then as far as like walking them through to closing the sale, so that whole 5-step invitation process, I use that semi-loosely and I put it in my own language basically, but starting with that question of, the would you be interested in details, that thing. And then I'll tell them like, you know, basically everybody's doing, everybody that's in my group is doing some kind of Beachbody program, following a meal plan that's, you know, tailored to their needs and their program, and then utilizing Shakeology in their day. And then usually the cost question comes up right away. Like that's people's first question for me every single time. And I will answer them and say that it really depends on what program you choose for your kit. And for some reason, using the word kit is like a happy trigger word for people. Like, so I use the word kit instead of challenge pack. But I'll tell them like, you know, it depends on which program you choose to have in your kit, which depends on your fitness goals and your fitness level. So if you know, what kind of goals do you have and what does your activity look like right now? And then we'll have a conversation about, you know, if they want to lose weight or if they want to tone up or get stronger, and whether they've been like exercising actively already or been a couch potato or whatever. And then, so I'll tell them that. I'll say, you know, let's talk about your goals. And then based on what you say, I can give you a couple recommendations and grab the price info for you. So then they'll share that. And then part of that 5-step invitation process is connecting their goals to whatever program you're recommending and saying, you know, in an excited tone, trying to convey that in an excited way. Like, you know, I really think that these, you know, 1 or 2 programs would be great for you. But the thing is, you have to commit to doing the workout every day, following the meal plan, and using Shakeology every day so that we know you're giving your body the best nutrition, because the nutrition is like the important part. And then I'll ask them like, do you think you're ready to commit to something like that? And they're either going to say yes, they are, or no, they're not. If they say no, they're not, then I always tell them like, I'm really proud of you for saying that you're not ready, because a lot of people will tell you they are, but they really aren't. And then if they say no, they're not ready, I'll ask them like, what kinds of things are holding you back? And so, you know, whether it's price objections or being afraid to fail or whatever, you address those. If they say they are ready, then what I will do is I kind of have this little paragraph that I had written out when 21 Day Fix was the main program people were looking at, but it basically, it's like this one sentence that says, you know, the kit comes with everything you need for your first 21 days, and then you can reuse all of the tools without having to pay for them again. And it contains, you know, and then I'll bullet point what's in the kit. And then when it was on sale for 3 months, I was saying, you know, you get all of that stuff for just $160, but it's on promo this month, so it's only $140. And then I actually think I saw Courtney use this question somewhere, but like, is that something your budget will allow? Which kind of feels like a jerk sort of question to me. But when I wasn't putting that question at the end, I was losing people and getting crickets. But if you ask them just point blank, like, is that something that works for your budget? They'll either tell you, yes, it does. How can I get started? Or they'll say, I need to talk to my husband about it. Like, that's the question. That's the big one. Is like, I got to talk to my husband about it. And so I will say, good, like, awesome. And I will always say, like, my husband is a detail person and he likes to see numbers. So if it's helpful to you, I can actually set up a cart for you so you guys can see exactly what's in it, what the shipping is going to be, and what your sales tax is going to be. So you have that exact number. Would that be helpful? And then they'll say, of course, yes, that would be helpful. So then I say, okay, all I need is to know your email and what kind of Shakeology you would want in your kit. And then they'll tell you, and you set up a Coach Mobile cart for them. And then I use Coach Mobile actually to keep track of who has one of those carts set up. And there's something about setting that cart up for them and then getting the email and opening it and looking at it that walks them closer to finally saying yes and finally getting the challenge pack. Especially if they're detail oriented and they like to see that information. So I use that as a part of every conversation that I have with somebody. After I send the Coach Mobile thing, I hop right over right away and I say, okay, I've got your cart all set up. Check, jump on your email and check for an email from Team Beachbody. If it doesn't come through, let me know and I'll see if I need to fix it. And when you are ready for checkout, what I say is when you're done checking out, let me know and I'll get you into the group for our preseason stuff. And so you can start meeting people. And then typically people will say, great, that's awesome. And then usually my coach mobile carts sit for at least a few days, depending on how close we are to the purchase deadline. But what I will do is I'll go like every Friday and resend a confirmation email, because that's payday for a lot of people. And I will go through, and after I send that confirmation, I'll jump in and I'll send a follow-up, like, hey, we're starting our next group. I'm super excited for you to join us. What questions do you have for me? That sort of thing. And I don't have every single person that sets up a coach mobile cart. Not every single person ends up buying. I have people who disappear and it's crickets. And so probably every 8 weeks or so, I clear out my coach mobile cart because it helps me clear my mind. And then, so that's what I do. And I think that's how I walk through that conversation.
No wonder you guys are on the top of the leaderboard every week. Holy cow. You guys are so good and organized and efficient. I like it. I love every bit of that. Do you guys have any?
Never invited Rebecca. I never sent Rebecca an invite. How did Rebecca contact me? Because I was sharing.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw her 20-pound weight loss mark. Like, I was sitting at the table doing homeschool stuff with my kid while he was screaming about copy work. And I was like, oh, Erin lost 20 pounds. Erin lost 20 pounds. I need to lose 20 pounds. And so I just commented. I was like, because she had like the hashtag join me. I was like, okay, what are you doing? Like, what are we doing? I need to do that. And then she started messaging me. And I think I actually dragged my feet for 2 whole months, because I think I messaged her, or I think we started talking about it in September. And I was like, I think did you set a cart up for me too? Yeah, she set a cart up for me too. And I was like, I kept forgetting to go buy it. And I was being like that, like textbook, super annoying customer person who kept saying I was going to buy it and then didn't. And honestly, it was because I could not get my phone to make it happen. Like my phone hates me. And I was just like, I don't want to get on my desktop. And I just wasn't ready, but I was, when I finally was ready, I went and I did it. But I totally did the and Erin was great, because Erin kept checking in with me, and she would just message me and be like, hey, how are you? And I would be like, great, I still need to buy my challenge pack. And so maybe one thing to keep in mind, if you have somebody who's like me and dragging their feet because they're sort of not ready, but they are, and they're being annoying and letting dumb things hold them back, is try it nicely in a friendly way to pin them down. Okay, I'm so, I'm so excited. When are you planning on completing checkout? Because I want to get you in the group, and I have some, there's some fun people in the group this time around, and I want to make sure you guys connect so you can do the program together. Stuff like that.
Well, and you also told me you were going to be nothing more than a discount coach.
I did. I was very I'm just going to be a discount coach for the discount. And what I was thinking in my mind was I'm going to set this up as a discount coach so I can save money on it. But really, Shakeology is probably stupid, and I'm going to return it. But then I fell in love with it, and I was like, well, it's a good thing I signed up for the discount.
So it's you guys who screw up the placement. We place you discount coaches because you're supposed to be discount coaches.
Yeah, ask Angela about that.
Erin was a discount coach.
Mm-hmm.
So is Sheena.
Yeah.
Now they're my diamonds.
If you have people that you're talking to and they are insistent that they only want to be a discount coach, there's a reason that they keep saying that over and over again. And it's because they really want to be a business building coach, but they're scared to admit it because they're afraid they're going to fail. And so if you can continue connecting with them and cheering them on when they are sharing well and doing their journey, and ask them like, hey, I know you keep mentioning that you're just doing this for the discount, but have you thought about leading other people and helping other people? That kind of question.
Yeah, so never place somebody based on what they tell you they're gonna do. Just evenly place them. Because I've made that mistake too. Is I'm like, oh, I'm gonna place them over here because I need a emerald or whatever over here, and
it never pans out that way. Yeah, if you're building for money, do the 2-to-1 ratio. 2 to your weak, 1 to your strong. If you're building for just to build, 1-on-1, and then just go for it. Well, yeah, okay. Man, we've been on. Oh no, we still have 5 minutes. I thought we were way past time. Pure gold. I'm so glad that we recorded this call. You know, I'm terrible about recording calls, but we recorded this call, and I know that I'm going to listen to it again because I did not take notes. And you guys said some really good stuff. So thank you both for hosting and doing this and sharing all of your tips and tricks. And I like it. I like it a lot. I like the cart. I like setting up a cart. I like calling it a cart. I've never thought to call it a cart. And there was something else that you rephrased that I liked too. A kit. I like kit instead of challenge pack. That sounds all scary. Yeah. All right. Does anybody have any questions for them? No? Is everyone blowing the smoke off their hands from the note taking? Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it. All right, well, if there's nothing else, then Angela, what was Angela supposed to talk about? She was supposed to share about.
she ran out. She's not on her screen right now. If you are trying to find somebody on Facebook, like your leads, try and find them on Facebook as well. I email them. I haven't gotten the courage up to text them. I know Danielle Smith does, but I'm like, especially I get a lot of guy leads, and I'm like, I don't want to text this guy and his wife, be like, who's this woman texting you? Oh, Angela's back.
Yeah,
but
she's back.
I think Bubby's awake though. So, but what you do is you can put their email in Facebook, but don't hit enter. And it should, if that email is attached to their Facebook, it should drop down their name to friend request them. And I usually send them an email first, which is like my standard leads email. And then I'll Facebook message them and say, hey, I just sent you an email. I'm your free Beachbody coach. I wanted to make sure you got it. And if that doesn't work to drop it down, you can search it. You can search by their name. You have their address. So be a little stalkerish and find out which, Danielle Smith it is if she's in Florida. And, you can kind of figure out which one it is on Facebook, not the one in Connecticut. And I found a couple that way. But, and I think Rebecca, Lynn was a lead, wasn't she, that you signed as a coach?
Yeah, Lynn was a lead, and Andrea that I just added this last week. Andrea was a lead as well.
Sweet. I have a really hard time finding my leads on Facebook, but I think I always hit enter afterwards, so I'll try that, something new. Do you have that typed up any kind of way, Angela? Do you have like I don't know, whatever?
I don't have anything typed up, but I can add like a file on how to search for people. Don't be afraid to type in their name too. Sorry guys, Paxton feels sick, so don't be afraid to search their name, and when they're your customer, you get their address. So don't be afraid to type in like Courtney Grill. There's more than one Courtney Grill. We went over this already, but I have your address, so I can click all 4 or 5 Courtney Grills that pop up and see where they live. One might live in Texas, one might live in Washington. Only one of you lives where you live. So it might take you a little bit longer, but it'll all add together. You also a lot of times get access to their phone number. Some people have their phone numbers linked, but a different email on their Facebook. So you might be able to search them by their phone number, and it's the same thing as their email. You just don't hit enter, just enter it in and it'll pop up. You have to wait a minute for it to drop down, but it's just like when you start typing somebody's name, it starts dropping down to everything.
Good deal. All right. Well, I am in love with this call. Oh, what does it mean when a lead says do not contact? It means they do not want you to contact them.
It means leave them
It
alone.
means leave them alone and they are forever gone.
One of my friends, though, says that on her. She wasn't a lead, obviously. Like, we've been friends. It's from Kirsten, my 11-year-old's birth club is how we've been friends. And hers, when she changed her Shakeology from, she ordered it regular, like not HD. When she switched it to HD, it switched her thing to do not contact. But so I don't have her email now, but I'm still contacting her on Facebook. But yeah, I wonder if they don't provide their emails or they put in like do not contact. So
There's a couple of my personally sponsored coaches that are listed as do not contact. So either there's a default or an accident, like with the changing, but more times than most, if it's someone you don't know and it says do not contact, they just don't want to be bothered. So, but the majority of them are there. Like, I only have a few that say do not contact. The majority of them, all of their information is there. And there are some coaches who send out handwritten note cards and mail them to them. So if you are a personal touch person, yeah, like Erin, you can mail them something and just say, hey, and then include your Facebook on there or whatever. If you're on Facebook, blah, 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 that's what I do. So there's lots of ways to reach out to your leads. I'm still trying to figure out how to get them a video. But we talked about that last time. Getting people to click a video from a random email is going to be difficult. So, but I just feel like that would be a personal touch. Anyway. All right. Well,
like you can find them on Facebook. I think they'd watch a video through a Facebook message. So.
One of the things that I do is with my leads, my first email that I send them is super, super short. And I pick the subject of it to be kind of generic, but I just say, hey girl, if it's a girl, and I don't capitalize it. I make it look like it's coming from some, I have grammar Nazi issues. I just say like, hey girl. And then my message to them just says, hey, their name. I just saw that I got assigned as your free Beachbody coach. I'm super excited to get to know you. Do you want to connect on Facebook? And I have more people respond to that than will respond to the longer one that I made based on the training videos. And I've had probably 5 of them friend me on Facebook, and 2 of them are coaches now. But I know there's something about a short message that people will respond to, especially the ends of the question.
Perfect. Yeah, don't give up on your leads. Lindsay Matway was a lead. Shiva Latifa was a lead. So, big names doing big things with those leads. Anyway, all right. Well, we have used up our hour.